Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy WattsTV, man, and today we have a reaction video. Today we are reacting to a video that is entitled I Can't Stay Silent About This Anymore. Now this video was sent to me twice within my Discord. I believe Blue Eagle and somebody else sent it as well. This video is about Fleece Johnson. If you do not know who Fleece Johnson is,
having some booty was more important than drinking water, man. I like booty.
yeah, that Fleece Johnson, the booty warrior from the Boondocks, all right? That guy. Apparently this video is about him and I really don't know what to expect, but before we get into it, please do me a favor. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. Make sure that you guys join the Wire community. Please subscribe. Make sure you guys run it up. Also, make sure that you join the Discord. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below so that you can send me videos like this one that I can react to. Also, please make sure that you do follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/watts_tv94. I go live every Saturday around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so with that out of the way, let's see what's going on with Fleece Johnson, because I really don't know what to expect with this video.
Finally getting around to it. There's been something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while here, but I've never really been able to think of a way that I could do it without getting in trouble with YouTube, so what I've decided is to just do it anyways and not really care what happens, because somebody needs to say something. We're going to be talking about some relatively uncomfortable stuff here today. This is not like one of my normal videos where we're talking about stuff that doesn't really matter. Today's topic kind of does matter in the grand scheme. I know, shocker. Like one of the first times I can say that. But it's something that I've been seeing more and more over the last like month. And I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way. So here we are. I think it's important that somebody says something. And at this point, I mean, I don't really care if YouTube demonetizes this video. Not that big of a deal. So that's what we're doing.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I can't tell you how many videos that I put up that I knew was going to get demonetized, and I was like, screw it. I just want people to see it. So you got to do what you got to do, man.
Fair warning, if you recognize the name Fleece Johnson and that guy makes you uncomfortable, maybe sit this one out, okay? Now, what we're talking about today is a bit of a complicated issue. I don't really know how long it's going to take me to say everything I want to say on this, but I'll try and give you a brief overview of what we're dealing with, all right? Over the last, like, month, maybe 2 months, I've been seeing these videos on TikTok of an interview with a man named Fleece Johnson. If you don't know the name Fleece Johnson, then I know you never watched the Boondocks as a child. My heart goes out to you. But what you need to know is that Fleece Johnson is a man who's famous for one reason and one reason only, and that reason is because he is, or
because he a booty warrior, because he a predator. That's why he famous. Yeah.
Was, I guess, I don't know, a serial of incarcerated men. Yeah, the entire video today is going to be revolving around that man, so relatively heavy stuff we're dealing with here. And the reason we're talking about him is, like I said, over the last couple of months, I've been seeing these TikTok videos that feature these interviews that have been done with Fleece Johnson. What are these interviews about, you might ask? Well, they are about why he's famous. Stories, his experience, things he's done, things he's seen, all of those things being connected by one thing, and that thing being that they're all related to men being, which me saying that word probably 100 times in this video is what's going to get this video demonetized, which is insanely fucking stupid. But at this point, who cares? We're doing it. Now, I want to talk about this for a few reasons. One of the main ones being that, and this is something I've talked about before, there's this movement on the internet, this like half-assed movement across the internet of people saying men's mental health needs to matter. The things men go through, men's mental health, it all needs to be taken more seriously. And generally, it's perpetuated by men who blame everything on women, okay? Let's just
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of split on what he just said. He said there's a movement on the internet that's basically talking about men's mental health and that men's mental health needs to be taken a little more seriously, but this rhetoric is usually perpetuated by men who blame everything on women. I'm not going to lie to you. I do see that. I do see that a lot online, and we do see that a lot with these Redpill guys as well. So it does happen. Like I do agree to a certain extent. But on the other hand, it is true that men's mental health, they like it does need to be taken a little more seriously. That's why you see a lot of these men not saying anything, and then the next day or next week they unalive themselves because they literally bottle everything up because nobody want to hear that. So I mean, it is an issue, but I understand what he's saying here.
Be real for a minute, all right? Generally, that's the demographic who pushes this stuff pretty hard. When in reality, shit like what we're talking about today is the real reason that men's mental health is not taken seriously. Obviously, there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, but stuff like this is a big part of it. The fact that I can scroll through TikTok and see multiple videos that have hundreds of thousands of likes of a man explaining all the different ways he's another man with one of those fucking videos of the ball going around in a circle on the bottom, and all the top comments are just
I did not know this was going on TikTok. I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't even know Fleece Johnson was making rounds. Like, how come why haven't I known about this? I'm so confused. When did this start to happen?
making jokes. That's why nobody takes men's mental health seriously. Shit like that. The fact that we're going to look at multiple content creators today that willingly sit feet away from a man who has admitted to raping over 100 different people and shoot the shit with him like he's just one of the bros and laugh at some of the shit he says is why men's mental health is not taken seriously. And look, this is not like really a video about men's mental health. That's not the reason I'm making this video. It's just one of them. I just think it's an important thing to sort of bring up when we're talking about this because I feel like stuff like this is overlooked in a way that just does not make sense. But that's enough of that. Let's look at the actual content itself. So these are the TikToks I've been talking about. On the top, you have an interview with a serial, and on the bottom, you have like one of those attention span traps, which I don't know, I feel like is kind of just a little bit crazy. Like, look, I get it. The whole true crime genre is really big right now. I don't really think this falls into that category. I think people who are obsessed with true crime are kind of weird anyways, but I'm not going to sit here and play stupid, act like I don't know that morbid curiosity is a real thing. You want to hear about things, you want to see things that you probably shouldn't. I've watched my fair share of videos where watching them is really only justified by saying you were morbidly curious. So like, I'm not like judging the fact that people are watching this. Maybe not even that people are making these TikToks. Strong maybe there though. My problem is the reaction. I find it very strange, like very, very strange that you can scroll through the comments on these videos and you'll just find hundreds, if not thousands, of comments making a complete joke about what this guy is saying. Now look,
I can see why you guys sent me this video because this is very, very interesting. Because he's talking about men's mental health and why it's not taken serious because of situations like this. And I get it. I get it. And he has a point because the first person that I thought of was Diddy. I mean, obviously, you guys know allegedly that Diddy did a lot of heinous crap. At this point, I don't even think it's alleged. I think it's like probably 90% certain that he did all of the things that he's been accused of, if we're keeping it a buck. Even that, people are still making jokes out of it. And I mean, I'm not excused from this either. Like I've made Diddy jokes. I've made Fleece Johnson jokes in the past. I haven't thought about him until now because first off, I didn't even know the nigga was out of jail. Let's start there. I did not even know he was out of jail. But yeah, I'm not absolved from this myself. This is hard, man. Again, I can see why you sent me this video. It's hard because I'm also a fan of very, very dark comedy. Like, I don't necessarily think that anything should be off of the table when it comes to comedy. And if we're using Fleece Johnson as an example, like, we were exposed to Fleece Johnson through comedy, through the Boondocks, which was a very, very funny cartoon that came on to Adult Swim back in the day. Like, this is how we were exposed to him. So the entire time that we think about Fleece Johnson, we think about the things that we did, we associate him with the Booty Warrior from the Boondocks. And we know how funny that was. But I'm just like, this video is making me think. I'm like, damn, should certain things be off of the table now? Should there be certain things that we do not joke about? You feel me? And I genuinely do not know the answer. This is just me thinking out loud. But I mean, he has a valid point. And I honestly haven't thought about these situations in this context before. So yeah, let's keep going.
Like, I'm not trying to be like the joke police. This video is probably going to come off kind of high horsey, and I'm really trying to avoid that. Making a dark joke is not that big of a deal. Like, it would be one thing if you made a joke about what goes on in prisons, like as a concept, but like taking in the full context here, you've got a TikTok with a guy talking about how many times he's been raped and how many times he's other people with an attention span trap on the bottom, because obviously what this guy is talking about is not engaging enough, and it's being passed off as content on a shitty social media app, and all the comments are basically just like, haha, he got raped, or haha, he a lot of people. Like, it's just kind of weird, you know what I mean? And look at the—
It is, man, it is. And when you put it that way, yeah, it's really fucking weird, actually. Like I said, I never really thought about it in this context before, but interesting. Yeah, he's not wrong.
Commenters, the people consuming this content, I don't really think that's the big issue here, because I mean, it's really nothing new. I mean, people are always going to eat this kind of shit up, which is made evident by the reason that this guy is famous in the first place. He gave this prison interview in the 2000s about what he likes to do, and it basically got turned into a Boondocks episode where he raped Chris Hansen so he could go to prison and other people. Yeah, so like probably not something that would be made today, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like me and my friends weren't making booty warrior jokes after that.
That's what I'm saying. It was funny. It was genuinely funny. But I wonder if something like the Boondocks, if it basically, how should I say this? I don't even know how to conceptualize my thoughts because I never even thought about this. Like, I wonder if the Boondocks really like watered down the situation, made it less serious than what it actually is, because he's right. At the end of the day, this guy is committing SA on other men in jail. That's not okay. We all know that it happens, but to laugh at it is kind of crazy if you think about it. I mean, it is.
That shit came out. And I'm not trying to like go back in time and say the writers
No.
of the Boondocks were wrong for making this guy famous. I'm not trying to do anything like that, because honestly, I think there is a very distinct difference between making a satirical cartoon episode about a crazy interview that got released and continuing to give that same guy more opportunities to give insane interviews. Which
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree, and I think that is a part of the problem. Yes, while Boondocks did make jokes about this particular gentleman, about this particular guy, you know, him committing SA, it was that episode and then that was it. It's not like they continue to like platform him or glorify him. You know what I mean? If people are constantly interviewing this guy just so that he could talk about getting SA'd and him SA'ing other people, nah, that is weird. Like, y'all gotta admit, that's weird.
Is for some reason what multiple content creators have decided to do. Now, I was able to find like a lot of these videos of people interviewing this guy, some in person, some over like a video call, but there's 3 that I want to show you and one that I really want to focus on. The one that I think a lot of people have seen is this one from Hustler Spirit. This guy named Anton Daniels has a couple, and there's also this YouTuber named Simply Wavy, all who have given and published interviews with Fleece Johnson. Now, I think that right now is a good time to remind you guys that once again, the one and only reason that this guy is famous, that he's anybody worth interviewing or talking about, is because he's so many people and he's very vocal about it.
Right.
Can we all agree that that is kind of a crazy person to give any sort of platform? I mean, seriously.
We agree. I agree. I don't know, guys. I don't know about you in the comments, but I wholeheartedly agree. That is a wild reason to give somebody a platform. I can't agree enough. Like, him basically retelling stories of SAing other men is wild.
This is kind of what I'm talking about when it comes to the whole men's mental health thing. There's a lot of really shitty people out there. People who have crazy immoral views, people who perpetuate the worst shit imaginable. And even still, I don't think you would ever catch anybody dead inviting somebody onto a podcast who brags about the fact that they've 157 women. I don't think you'd ever see that happen. Why is it different for men? It's crazy how ingrained the whole—
Wow. God damn, that is such a valid point. Damn. This is so crazy because I really did not, I don't know why, but I really didn't think about this. He's absolutely right. If a man had the same energy, but he was speaking about like graping women, then yeah, that would not be okay. Everybody would be like, yo, you're disgusting. You're a POS. But why is it that when it comes to men being SA'd, it's funny? Is it funny because of the fact that they're prisoners and we have a lack of empathy when it comes to prisoners because they are indeed prisoners? Or is it the fact that they're not only just prisoners, but they're men as well? This is, damn. Again, I can see why this was a great video to send me, guys.
Idea of prison justice is into our society. How that's just part of going to prison now. It's basically treated as a joke. How if you do something wrong, you make a mistake, you at some point in your life, that you go to prison and you're just subjected to what a lot of people consider the most heinous crime a human can commit as part of your sentence. Now look, I'm not trying to make a video talking about the prison system, and obviously the numbers point towards what we're talking about not happening as much as a lot of people think it does, but still, it's weird that it's so accepted. What's even weirder though are these interviews. I don't really want to like watch through them like we normally would because I don't really want to give these guys or Fleece Johnson any more screen time than they're already getting, but there are a few clips that I want to show you just because they're so fucking bizarre to me that I can't make sense of them.
I just say, for instance, you was in that situation.
I can't see it, Fleece. I can't think about it.
You would turn me down.
What you mean?
Huh. It's more important than Wilder. You should know what I mean.
Alright, so this little segment really stood out to me. And look guys, you let me know if I'm reading too far into all this, but I really don't think I am. This man invited a self-proclaimed serial into his house and is sitting down having a casual conversation about raping other men with that guy. Not only are they just having a casual conversation, this guy's laughing his ass off. Is that not weird? Like,
No. It is weird. It is. I agree that it is weird, and I would never have this man ever in my home. Like he's crazy for that. But I feel like I'm gonna say this carefully. I feel like there maybe should be just a tiny bit of grace given here, because just like everybody else, the YouTuber that is currently interviewing Fleece Johnson right here, we all watched that old interview. We all watched the Boondocks, and we all thought it was funny because you gotta admit, a grown man saying another man's like butt is more important than water. It's crazy. Like it's wild. It's still to this day. It's still one of the wildest things that I've ever heard ever in my life. And I'm 30. Like I've heard a lot of crazy shit before, and he's serious. So hearing that in person is, I understand why he laughed, because I mean at the end of the day, like I laughed. Am I saying that is okay? No, I'm not saying that is okay. The situation is really screwed up, and this man is talking about SAing other men. Like none of this is okay. But I think we're just so attached to that old interview, and mainly that Boondocks episode, where we are still trying to add a little bit of levity to this situation when we probably shouldn't anymore. We should let that episode be that episode and just leave it to rest. You feel me?
I normally wouldn't get into shit like this, but I really don't care at this point. People need to start being held accountable for stuff. The guy's wearing a hoodie that says "Follow God, not culture."
Wow.
Being friendly with a serial rapist doesn't seem too godly to me, gotta be honest. Filming a YouTube video with that guy while you laugh and joke about one of the most heinous crimes a person can commit just for YouTube views definitely seems like an example of following the culture, gotta be honest. Like, it's one thing to sit a person down and interview them, no matter how bad of a person they might be, because their experiences or the shit they've gone through might be valuable to hear about. Right. There's a difference between that and doing this. Two different things. Like, this man is sitting here shooting this shit with a real life fucking supervillain. Dude is on the record saying a man's ass is more important than water, and you're giggling with him? What is wrong with you? Now, this one by this Simply Wavy guy, it's not really the video itself I want to talk about. It's the presentation, I guess you can say. The title of this video is "The Freakiest Man Just Got Released from Prison." The first line of the description is a disturbingly hilarious sit-down interview with Fleece Johnson, aka the Booty Warrior. My brother in Christ is not freaky. Like, what are we doing to ourselves, guys? Like, this is a uniquely male problem. Why the fuck are we calling a guy who talks about nothing but raping other men hilarious? This is why nobody takes men's problems seriously, because this is how we fucking treat them ourselves. This guy should not have a single platform anywhere, much less one where he's getting called shit like freaky and hilarious. Now, this third one is one of the interviews from the channel Hustler Spirit, where most of these interviews are coming from. The guy has like a lot of them. He has dozens of videos with this guy. I don't know where he's getting this footage, but like most of his videos are Fleece Johnson. It's kind of weird. And when I first saw this interview, I didn't really have a huge issue with it, because like I said, people who have done awful things are not off limits for interviews. It's how you conduct them. And this seemed like a relatively well conducted interview until I looked at this channel, and it's just like all fucking Fleece Johnson, like basically vlogging. It's like you start looking at the thumbnails and the titles and you're like, holy shit, every single video on this channel is something to do with Fleece Johnson. The man has the guy's Cash App tag in his YouTube bio. I mean, like, at some point, we're going a little bit too far. Well,
all right, okay, that is, look, that is a little much, all right? That's a lot. That's a lot. It's like you're placing your entire identity, your YouTube identity on Fleece Johnson. Yeah, that's mad weird. A man who committed grape multiple times and constantly talks about it. No, yeah, I would say that's most definitely weird. And again, I wholeheartedly agree. And I also agree with this YouTuber's sentiment when he says that he thinks it's okay to interview individuals who did some heinous crap, but it's just, it matters how you conduct these interviews. If you ask questions and ask why, if he has any regrets, like, that's one thing. I'm surprised that some of these guys are not demonetized. If we keep it in a buck, I'm going to be completely honest with you. But yeah, I do agree with this YouTuber's sentiments. Like, I get it. I would think twice.
What do you think? I realize that this is kind of like an oddball issue. I don't really think anybody else has talked about this. It's a pretty niche thing. But like I said, I've been seeing so much of this shit on TikTok that it made me kind of want to dive into it deeper. And once I did, I found myself down this rabbit hole of all these people being like strangely nonchalant about this dude who like really should probably never see the light of day. He's a little bit too proud of the shit he's done. It's just very strange to me. I don't really get it. It's something I don't think YouTube should really be allowing, and I usually don't say that about a whole lot. As a person who does YouTube for a living, I don't really want YouTube to be too restrictive, but I mean, when you have guys using the name of a serial rapist to get money and views on your website, I feel like that's probably something you should address, at least. And look, don't get me wrong, like I said, there's a difference between interviewing somebody, bringing light to something, and almost glorifying it, promoting it, giving it a platform, whatever you want to call this. I feel like there's a very distinct difference, and I don't know. Hopefully something's done about it. Sorry if this video made you uncomfortable. I know this is kind of like really out of the realm of the stuff I normally talk about, but every now and then I see something serious and I'm like, you know what? Somebody should probably say something about that. So I know it's not like a Darman video, a shitty cooking video, some stupid Twitter drama. A little bit of a different day for us here, but I think it's an important one. Like I said, I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about this. I mean, I think most people would probably agree with the stuff I'm saying, but who knows? Maybe by the internet standards, I'm overreacting. I don't think I'm gonna see it that way, but who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Let me know if you think anything should be done about this, if you think YouTube should allow this or not. Just very curious as to what you guys are gonna think about this very niche little corner of the internet. Let me know, okay? See ya.
Yeah, this was a very, very interesting video. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm not absolved of anything, because just like all of you, like back in the day, I laughed too. Like, first of all, I did not know he was doing this many interviews. I don't even think I realized that this man was out of jail. Like, I have seen zero Fleece Johnson content. Like, I promise you I haven't. But I get it. I get it. I think it is important to bring awareness to situations like this. Because at the end of the day, he's not wrong. If somebody were to come on to somebody else's platform and talk about how they SA'd women, that would be like just unexcusable. But why is it the fact that when it comes to men, we're all laughing about it? Again, I have no idea. I don't know. again, I posed the question again of, are some things just like, should they be off the table when it comes to comedy? I'm not sure anymore. The Boondocks was one thing because it was literally just one episode and it was a parody, and then that was it. It's not like they were putting this man on a pedestal, and it's not like they were constantly promoting him as an individual. Like, they were not trying to, like I said before, put him on a pedestal. It was literally that one episode, and then that was pretty much it. We didn't hear anything about Fleece Johnson when that episode, like after that episode aired. So I do think that it's okay for the Boondocks to make a parody about this situation. But I will agree with August here that it is weird that people keep essentially platforming this man to talk about how he SA'd other men in jail. A crime that is very heinous at that. Very heinous. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm not gonna lie, y'all threw me for a loop on this one. You really did. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you agree with anything that I said? Do you disagree? Please do me a favor and let me know in the comments down below. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. Join the Discord. I have a link to that in the description down below. And also make sure that you follow me on Twitch. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.